I think Vito will beat Andrew.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with Andrew Jack, who was spotted doing some heavy T-bar rows. So the back and the hamstrings, they remain the main area of focus for Andrew Jack for this year. As you guys can see from his recent training videos that he does a few sets of hamstrings after some heavy back movements. So no show pegged out as of right now for Andrew Jack. But do not be surprised if he jumps into one of these upcoming shows and he gets done with his Olympia qualification very early in the season and not wait till this year's Texas Pro to earn his Olympia spot. Because the thing is, most of us, we see that as his best option, especially if he wants to fight for the Olympia title this year. So after this year's Arnold, where Andrew placed third, it's no secret that the judges, they not just want to see Andrew jacked in that top-notch conditioning, the kind of conditioning that guys like Derek and Hadi Chopin bring, but they also want him to show up big and full as a house, like he did for Texas Pro last year. And we have to keep in mind, he was majorly improved in his side shots at this year's Arnold, which by the way were his weakest shots up until the Olympia last year, and he was even looking better in these side shots than he did at Texas Pro. And one of the major reasons for that was the way he was posing at this year's Arnold. The man put in a lot of work in his posing and presentation, and that worked out wonderfully for him. So it wasn't just the improvements in his physique, especially in the side, but despite all that, he lost so much size, so much volume in his squats from the front. And the reason that happened was because he was chasing conditioning. We kinda saw the same thing at the Arnold back in 2023, where he suffered the most in terms of the size on his legs from the front. So winning this upcoming Detroit Pro or the Arnold Brazil, that would have been a walk in the park for Andrew. Even at 90%, he could have easily won either of these shows. But I'm sure he knows what's best for him. So he's keeping that option open, that he might step on stage early this time. And that is why he's keeping himself very lean. So FIBA Germany, that is like 2.5 weeks away. That can also be an option. And if he does that show and wins it, he will be the first ever FIBA Germany champion as well. Guys, Hosstile just dropped some new merchandise, and Mr. Olympia Signature Series, that is also live, and all the supplements, they are also tagged in this video. So use the code Fazi10 to get 10% extra discount.
2025, I'm going to say that Vito's in the top 5 at the Olympia.
Ooh.
That would be the wildest prediction, but would not shock me if it happened.
Next up, we have another update from Goodivto. The man looks so dry and so damn ripped. So is Goodivto really that good? Or are we overhyping him to a great degree, just like we did with Carlos Thomas Jr.? And that turned out to be the biggest disappointment at this past Arnold. So the wildest prediction that was made by Fuad in the latest episode of the Pro Chat regarding Goodivto. And if we look at it from Fuad's perspective, that does make sense. So the prediction was Goodivto at 100%. With all the improvements that he has been able to make in this past 1 year, he can be top 5 in the world at his Olympia debut this year, and he can beat a guy like Andrew Jack. Now at first, it kind of sounds like blasphemy, right? People would say, how can a guy who hasn't even been on the Olympia stage can be the most beautiful physique in the men's open right now? And that is Andrew Jack, who is known as the Mona Lisa of bodybuilding.
Very specific bet. If Vito makes it to the Olympia, which I'm assuming he will at some show, and Andrew makes it to the Olympia, which I'm also assuming he will at some show.
Okay. I see where you're getting at.
I think Vito will beat Andrew.
No. Maybe one day, but not yet.
But we have to keep in mind, didn't Martin Fitzwater also did the same last year at his Olympia debut by placing top 4 in the world and beating Andrew Jack? And I have got to say, if we look back at Detroit Pro last year, both Goodivto and Martin, they compared extremely well against each other. And by logic, Goodivto is gonna be the one who's gonna show up with the maximum amount of improvements, because he's the one who took almost 1 year off. Because for those of you guys who do not know, his last show, that was Detroit Pro last year. And since then, he has been focused on putting on more muscle, more mass, and bringing up his lagging body parts. For instance, his back, and all the size that he put on during this past off-season. that kind of showed in that posing video that he posted just a few days ago. And the thing that was even more unbelievable was that in Valier, he seemed to agree with Fuad that Goodivto beating Andrew Jacked. That isn't unrealistic at all. Now, as a bodybuilding fan, it is so exciting to know that we are about to see Goodivto step on the stage in less than 9 days' time at this year's Arnold Brazil, where this guy is the hot favorite to win that show and secure his Olympia spot for this year. So what do you guys think? Can Goodivto be the breakout star of 2025? And can he shake up that Olympia lineup by placing top 6 this year? And that too on his first try.
You can beat Andrew.
You do, eh?
Wow.
I'm the only one?
I got Ian's backing too. Seth, what do you think?
I got to get something
yeah.
big for this then. If I
Seth
win.
thinks so. Mike,
Really?
Mike just put him in second. So Mike,
Yeah.
So Martin Fitzwater will have zero pressure going into this year's Pittsburgh Pro, as he was done with his Olympia qualification already in the post-Olympia tour, and that was by winning Prague Pro. But just because he had such a phenomenal season last year, there was really nothing negative that you can point out about Martin from 2024 as he continued to get bigger and bigger and better. So Martin is entering this year's Pittsburgh Pro as the 4th best bodybuilder in the world, and even the judges said that it was very close between Martin and Derek. Now we know Derek was just way off at the Olympia last year, and if he looks anything close to his Arnold Ohio version from this year, he's winning this show no questions asked. But Martin Fitzwater, he would definitely like to give Derek Lunsford a run for his money at this show. And the real battle at this show, in my opinion, that is gonna be between Martin and Nick Fogger, since this is gonna be a rematch, and both these guys, they are polar opposite physiques. So this is gonna be Martin's first show of the year, and he's gonna be all fresh, and he's gonna be a lot bigger this time around compared to how he looked on the Olympia or even at Prague Pro last year. So Martin probably was most perfectly peaked guy out of the top 5 from the Olympia last year, and he's very mindful that his biggest weapon, that is his shape and his aesthetics, and he looks very mature, and he has very densely packed muscles, especially for his age. And the good thing is that he isn't looking to play the size game, as that can kind of ruin his physique, especially in the long run, just like we saw happened with the legend like Phil Heath. The one major reason Phil Heath lost the Olympia title, that was his midsection. So Martin's final look at this year's Pittsburgh Pro, that is gonna be a very anticipated one. And the real question, whether he shuts down the season after this year's Pittsburgh Pro, or will he go for the New York Pro and Dubai Pro, that is still to be answered. Next up, we have 2.5 weeks out physique update from Sergio Oliva Jr. So he was the first one who announced that he's gonna be doing this upcoming FIBA Germany, but at the same time he said he doesn't want to make his comeback in a show where there are no big names. Well, his wish came true, as William Bonac, the 2 times Arnold champion, he has already announced that he's in for that show, and we just do not know whether Sergio, even at 100%, he has the goods to beat a veteran like William Bonac. But this goes without saying that Sergio has been looking extremely impressive throughout this prep, but in reality, that has always been the case. Even back in 2023, when Sergio made his comeback at Cali Pro, when he was stuck in Dubai, he looked freaking huge, and he was in an unbelievable condition. But when the time came to present all that on the stage, he just did not look a lot bigger than a guy like Tonio Burton, who by the way weighed below 220 pounds at Cali Pro that year. So Sergio doing a show with Stefan, that will clarify whether it was the anxiety that did not allow him to present his best on the stage, or the other harsher truth that can be what Sean Ray said, that he doesn't belong in the Olympia top 10. So this has already been a long diet for Sergio, and if he is unable to win this show, the next show in line, that is gonna be Pittsburgh, which is 4 weeks away, and there is zero chance for any of these guys having a shot at winning that show because of guys like Derek, Nick Walker, and Martin. So what are your expectations from Sergio this year? Can he qualify for the Olympia? Next up, we have 7.5 weeks out physique update from Goodivto Can. So we have already seen how impressive his front looks like. Now we get to see his back lat spread more specifically. So the back double biceps, that is most probably gonna be his weakest pose. But remember, this is a guy who is just getting ready to make his pro debut at the New York Pro. So this is his rookie year, and we just don't want to put too much pressure on him. But that being said, That is a very dangerous looking physique from the front, and you can clearly see more separation and feathers in his quads with more than 7 weeks to go. So all that size that Ken has been able to pack on during this past off season, that is enough to stand out even amongst the top guys without the fear of getting outmuscled. But then again, one cannot focus enough on one factor. The biggest impression a rookie of that size can make on the judges is by coming in shredded and absolutely ripped. Now, I have got to say, if he's able to do that, he's gonna break some hearts. But in case he is even slightly off, it's very easier for the judges to mark him down and for him to get overlooked, especially when you are just starting your professional career. So the New York Pro is gonna have a very deep lineup, and you have got to remember, even a freak like Nick Walker that wasn't able to place top 3 at his pro debut back in 2020 Chicago Pro, and that was actually a weak lineup. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.